Hello everyone, this is Cirque playing Doman for Blunderful in the summer season. This is our match against S4P Pubs on Obscure, and I just figured I'd give you a little roll down of what we were thinking during this match and how we were playing and just how the match went in general. I won't spoil the score for you, but we do win this game, and it does go pretty well. The one thing that we've been struggling on this map with is definitely the last pushes, which we sort of figured out during this match. While it did have to do partly with just the other teams incapable of stopping these pushes, I think we did finally figure out what we were doing on these last pushes. So right now you are watching the mid fight, and you saw my rollout at the beginning. I basically take that same rollout every single time that I come out to mid. Usually you can catch the demo man coming right out of one of their doors and hit him with a few stickies, and the way that our scout was working with me, I would get a couple hits on the demo man with a couple stickies, and then he was able to get in and get some chip damage on him and basically finish him off. Because most of the time the demo man wasn't at full health when he got to mid, but what I tried to do was always get there with at least close to full health. So usually I'd be there with like a good 150. So I can't be chipped by their demo or their scout because my health is going to be high already. So not many demos figured that out, because in almost all of our scrims I was able to take down the opposing demo man pretty easily. Not take him down, but just get a lot of damage on him at the mid fight, and your demo man is extremely important on this map for mid fights. He needs to be doing constant damage if you're going to win these type of fights, just because the team is usually focused all together, and the demo man is very good at getting all the burst damage on people. So right now you're seeing us pushing the last for the first time. This one doesn't go as well at the start, but we do end up taking this round within the next couple minutes or so. So for last, what we tried to do was, I was able to push in with our medic, and then we Ubered through, and I would try to get as much damage as possible, and then all of our roamers, our other classes, would come in through the right door or the left door sometimes. Usually the right door, because that's an easier place to come out, because the left is a really big choke point. So we would get in there, and then our heavy would be back with our engineer. Our engineer would be wrangling a mini sentry, like right in front of their main door, and then he'd be doing constant damage onto the point while our heavy protected him. And once I went down or our medic went down, we would usually have all of our team doing constant damage for the other team. So basically that was our plan, that was our strategy for that. Originally we were trying to push through the top left, but that did not turn out well just because of how choky that is. It's really easy to be spammed by demo men or soldiers. So yeah, definitely I think for this map, a good strategy is splitting up, just taking your demo and medic in, or your heavy medic in one at a time, and then have the rest of your classes follow it. And the last point in this map caps so quickly that you're able to get in there, and you can even have a spy stand on the point for a couple seconds and it'll be capped. So for our second point pushes, we would usually just come through the left door, or we would go through the little middle drop door. We figured those were the best places. The side on the right is you come out way too far from the point, so you're not getting a lot of damage onto the combo, which is really what you need to be focusing on during your pushes into second. Second is much easier to take than last is, at least in our experiences. Usually, almost all the times we push into second, we will take it. So yeah, we basically had our second pushes held down. Same thing with our middle holds and middle pushes, because I don't think we got pushed back to our second point once in this match. So right now, this is basically where our combo would always hold. Our heavy and medic and usually engineer and me would all hold in this building, and then we would have our roamers kind of watching the right sides. So we had our scout and our pyro sort of watching the rights. Our soldier was sometimes in the lobby with us. And this basically led to us having a really strong presence inside the building there. And this is a really important building to hold if you want to be in control of when you can push and when you have to fall back. So we would basically just wait until we had Uber, and then, like I discussed earlier, push into them. So right now we're just sort of buying time to build some Uber up, and I think we do decide to push in relatively soon. Yep, here we go. So I come in, I jump up to the tower, and I want to get this mini sentry down because our Pyro and Scout cannot get in unless that is down. So I think I end up going down here to the Scout, but the rest of our team is still in there, and I think they do end up Ubering back on us. That might be a different push though. So right now we're just kind of waiting for me to spawn in because basically you need your demo man to push into this last point, and our spy gets on the point and caps it. So that was some really good coordination for us to be able to frag them while our spy just gets in unnoticed. So here's my rollout again. This is basically what I chose to do every single time. I feel it worked the best. Going left and going through the middle is not preferable, for me at least, just because you're very vulnerable to spam. You'll see that the enemy team usually goes to the right, and that seems like a very, very bad spot. We usually try to hold in the house, and there's one instance where they actually are very slow to mid, and I'm able to get a lot of chip damage onto almost all of their classes as soon as they come out the right door. So basically the way we play our mids is we all try to come through the house. Sometimes our roamers will go different ways. Our Scout and Pyro are very, very, very good together, so if they can get together and cause a lot of havoc, we are basically getting the point for free, because all we need to do is distract the combo or kill the combo of the enemy team. So when we push into second, I think we do go through the bottom this time. Medic looks in on the heavy first, and then I get some of the Uber. And enemy team pops it, and we just have to back out of there because there's nothing we can really do. They did Uber the Pyro, so it's not that big of a deal because Pyro cannot do that much damage on his own. He needs people focusing. He needs people focusing us. He can't do it all on his own. So right there, I do get headshot, but in the long run, it's not going to be that big of a deal for us. I think we do end up just pushing back into their second. It just takes a little bit longer. So basically what you want to have is you want your demo always up with your combo. You never want your demo. I mean, if your demo is very good, you can roam, but that is very risky because if your demo goes down, there's a pretty good chance you're going to lose mid, or you're going to lose wherever you're holding, because your demo is just extremely important for setting up traps in case they push in, and he's just a DM based class. You need him up if you're going to hold a point. So I was basically stationed with our heavy and medic the whole entire game because that's what we planned out to do. There were some moments where I would jump them, but it was only when an Uber was going down or an Uber was about to go in, and then our medic would put it on our heavy instead of me. Usually we Ubered me in instead of our heavy just because I have a lot longer range than our heavy does, that I can do a pretty good amount of damage to them from medium range, where the heavy is going to lose some of that damage. So yeah, basically your Ubers want to almost always go to your demo and heavy. Usually your demo on a map like this, a 5 CP, is going to be really important for demo man. There's some maps this season in UGC that haven't been extremely important for demo man. Canal Zone is one of them that I can think of. Waste is very, very important for demo man though. If you know what you're doing and you have very good DM, you can get a lot of work done on that map. But for Obscure, demo man is just as important as any other 5 CP map, and if you're familiar with Badlands or Greenery, you know that the demo man is very important. So right now, our medic did go down to a headshot from their sniper, so we're sort of just kind of capping this point while we wait for him to get back up. And then we're going to go back up to our usual holding spot, because that's where we have decided the best place to hold is. I think we do end up waiting for our medic before we push into there, because we don't want to be without heals in there and run into their combo, because that's not a good thing to happen. So I think our medic does come up in a second, and we start pushing in to the building. And basically we're just kind of rinsing and repeating of what we did last round. This is basically, we hold on the stairs until we have Uber, and then we push into them. Honestly, I think that's the best decision to do. I don't think you should hold anywhere else besides this building. There really is nowhere else to hold unless you want to, you know, kind of get ballsy and go to the right side, but they're not really going to be coming from there. And right now, basically what I'm doing is just checking for traps. We don't want to walk into a sticky trap, because that is going to kill. If they have enough stickies in the door, it's going to kill all of us. later in the game we do end up having some trouble with a sticky trap, but I won't spoil that. So right now we do have Uber, and I think our spy gets in and does do some capping onto the point. So we already have sort of an advantage going in. So right now I'm just focusing heavy. I think I do get out of here, and then they Uber back onto us with their demo man. But essentially we're just holding in the same exact spot. They can't do much to our combo because a demo man alone with no one else helping him is not enough to take down a heavy medic demo like we were holding in there. So right now I do cut off the scout on the right so he doesn't try to flank us in. And then basically we're just rinsing and repeating of what we did earlier and kind of waiting for us to get Uber. I do some spamming into the point, and we realize that they're not a lot up. And the thing with Obscure is the respawns are just extremely long. So basically you can go in, get some frags, and then back out, and then push right back in as soon as their Uber is done, or as soon as you have a couple more players up, because the spawns are close to 20 seconds sometimes, which is extremely long. I don't know why the map is like that, but if you can kill a lot of people, they're going to be down for almost the rest of the fight if you can push them in the right time. So I think this time we do decide to go in right side, just because they were sort of expecting our strategy from last time to go through the middle, and we wanted to kind of mix it up a little bit. So basically on this last point, you want to be focusing the heavy, the engineer, if he has a level 3. We were actually lucky because their engineer was running mini sentries, but we had some problems with engineers running level 3s at some points, and that's just a huge pain to take down if you push in the last. So right now, our heavy is in there getting some frags, soldiers in there, scout goes in with me, and basically this is sort of a GG for the round. We get in and capture point. So that's going to be 3-0. We need one more round to win. This is going to be halftime. Oh, excuse me, no. This is going to be another round, not halftime yet. So, just like last time, we have me doing my rollout, and then our scout is very close behind me, so he can get some chip damage on them. If I call out in Mumble that I have done damage to a certain class, he can go in and finish up the damage that I've done, which is what we've been trying to do the whole time. We had some scrims where the demo would go the same side every time, and I would get maybe a couple stickies onto him, and then our scout was just able to go in and get the rest of the damage. And a demo down on mid is very important, like I said before. So I think our medic doesn't end up going down to a spy here, but it's not a huge deal because they don't really capitalize on it. On this kind of map, if the enemy medic goes down, that's your prime time to push, because if they don't have an Uber, you are going to be wanting to push into them, because Uber v Uber, it's not really going to get much done, but there's sometimes where you have to do that. So right now you just heard their medic call, so we've been calling this out in Mumble, what charge they have. Our spy was also checking what medigun they were running. As you saw earlier, they were running crits at mid. So basically, right now, we're just kind of biting time for our medic to get back up, which I think he is up right now. And we are just kind of waiting for him to have Uber. And right there, the scout gets a really nice play. I can't really blame my team for that, although I did sort of get on them about that, although it's not really their fault. Their scout came in with Criticola and just kind of wiped me out. I didn't expect him to be there. And I sort of just wasn't prepared for it. I think I was holding a little bit too far up. That's why it happened. If I was holding back more with my team, probably wouldn't have died so easily. But that critical is pretty brutal. It's going to take you down really quickly. And the scout did a great job of just getting in and taking me down. Although, I don't know why, but they didn't decide to push on that. So coming up, I think we do get Uber. And this is the moment I was talking about with the sticky trap. This was pretty devastating when this happened, but it didn't really affect our push that much. They actually decided to capitalize on it, but their Uber was so far back and we were holding so far back that, yeah, there it is. We both go down to a sticky trap. So I was trying to call my medic, tell him that there were stickies there. I called him out, and he just sort of we just sort of both ran into them. I can't blame him. It's mainly my fault for not going first in and checking. But they do decide to push in on that because a demo medic down is usually going to be a pretty easy win for you. But our team does end up holding the mid, even though they Uber on there. So that's really good. That's a really good job. If you can hold back an Uber while you're not Ubered, that's probably one of the best things you can do. So right now, I'm back up and I'm spamming mid again. Not really getting much done there, but our team is kind of just cleaning up the kills. Spy demo right there, I call it out and take him down. And then we sort of just kind of trickle back into the mid. I think I do get the engineer down here, which it's not a huge deal, but those mini sentries can be really killer to your roaming classes, especially your scouts and pyros. That's a huge deal. So yeah, we are recapping mid right now, and then we're gonna decide to push back right into them because they're not gonna have Uber right now, at least not for probably another 30-45 seconds. So I'm pretty sure we do go in through the left here and take the second point. So yeah, we're basically just kind of doing what we had been doing. Our mids and second pushes are usually the same thing. Our last pushes is really where it gets kind of variable, because there's so many ways you can go into last, and there's so many ways you can do it wrong when you go into last. So right now I'm kind of checking for stickies again because I don't want the same thing to happen. That was pretty bad before, and you did just see a spy come in, and you'll see what happens. Yep, and there he goes. He takes down our heavy. It's not a huge deal. Even though the spawns are pretty long, we just wait for him to get back up, and then we push right back into them. And I believe that they do have Uber now, so I sticky up this left door in case they want to push in through there. And just a second ago, you did hear the medic call Uber, which is something you should always be looking out for, listening for, I should say, because that's a huge deal to know when the medic is going to have Uber. If you don't know, you can be very surprised. They can be running crits, and they can have it much earlier than you are. And if they crits into your team and you don't have an Uber, you're basically kind of screwed, because unless you can back up, get out of there really quickly, most of your team is going to go down if they crits the demo. Waste was a huge example of that. Crits was very prevalent on that map. So in our matches on Waste, we would almost always run crits and give it to me because the demo and crits just very good together. So most of our pushes are kind of slowed down because of snipers. I think right here I do jump. Yeah, I do jump to try to get the sniper because we don't want any of our players going down. And I get the engineer here. So basically this is a very successful push for us. And then the medic spawns in, and yeah, basically he comes in through a teleporter and finds that. Finds me waiting for him. So that's kind of unfortunate for him. So he's not going to be up for another 15 seconds or so, and we have a huge advantage to push into last right now. So like I've said before, we usually hold right in this house, right on the staircase, and I believe we do push in once with Uber. I don't remember if we get the point at first, but either way, we do win this round again. So if you've been paying attention to what kind of points the other team has been getting, what kind of points they've been capping on our side, you can sort of infer what kind of score this match is going to have at the end. They're not getting much headway. I don't know why. I think we just played a pretty solid game tonight, or not tonight, but the other night, on Monday night. We just played a really solid match. We learned a lot from our scrims. We do scrim a lot, so basically we get all of our strategies from there. We kind of practice new things in scrims. I had some good ideas for pushing last night that I was talking to our heavy squid about, and yeah, basically we've been discussing what kind of pushes we want to do. So right now I'm focusing the heavy and missing pipes like I do. You know, no big deal. But their scout does come in, I hit him with a pipe, save our medic, and they do Uber back into us, I think. And then I go through the right side on my own because they don't have many up, and like I said before, the spawns are very long. I kill a pyro on the point, and this is basically another GG round for us. We cap the point, and this, I believe, is going to be halftime, which is just kind of us screwing around. Because if you were paying attention, our engineer actually did crash out, so we sort of have to wait a little bit for him to get back in. His Steam wasn't responding, so I'm just sort of gonna be quiet while this halftime goes on. Nothing really important goes on here, so I'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Sort of watched us, you know, screwing around during halftime. It's not that big of a deal. We're all kind of in a good mood because of how well the first 3 rounds went. And or first 4, I can't remember what the score, what we played to. And this is what I was talking about before. Their team is very, very slow to mid this round, and I'm able to get a lot of damage on their team even before they are out on the point. So this is the kind of thing you really need to coordinate and make sure that it doesn't happen. That your team doesn't get the mid slow. And right there, I do get stabbed, but we still do end up taking the point, so it's not that big of a deal. From our experiences, going right is a very, very bad idea. Just because it's a very choke point-esque area, I guess I should say, but usually going through the house is the way to go, at least for us. So right now I do come back up, and our soldier is running the disciplinary actions, so he is whipping everyone at the start of the round, so we are getting the mid much quicker than they are, because I do not think that their soldier is running the whip. So right now I'm sort of just waiting for our soldier so we can both get to mid a little quicker. And they do crits, they do end up critzing on mid, and we pop, and kind of negate that effect. And right now I'm just kind of pushing back into them, kill the engineer, I think I kill the pyro, and then we're basically good to push on to second point. So yeah, it's if you can get a lot of frags on mid, you're basically set for the rest of the round. Especially if you can get the medic down, because that's it's a huge disadvantage to not have Uber or crits in this case that they were running, which did not work out for them at all, really. I think they got maybe 1 crits off that they actually killed a person, but if you saw at the beginning, I did just jump their crits and take it down immediately. So I don't think that this map is very good for crits. I think Uber is definitely the way to go on this map. Definitely a map like Waste, though, is very, very good for crits, which I did mention before. So same old for this. We're sort of just waiting to push back into them. Waiting for we have Uber. I think their scout does get behind us, but not big deal. It's not a big deal because now he's not going to be at the last play. And I do believe we do get the point here. I think I do go down and, you know, miss pipes. But not a big deal. We do cap the point, and that's going to be GG. So